Hi, I'm Dr. Andy McGuire, and I'm running for governor of Iowa. I come from Waterloo, Iowa, from a family of 8. My dad was a World War II veteran, came home and started a construction machinery business, and my mom stayed home with us. And the reason I talk about that is I learned about caring for others growing up. I learned about if a person was sick, we went and took them some food. If somebody was down on their luck in our community, the community got around them and got them back on their feet. That's why I became a medical doctor, because I could see the power of caring about someone, especially when they're sick or injured. But I've been to all 99 counties, and I'm not hearing about that caring as much as I used to. I hear people say that they can't get a fair shake and they can't get ahead for their families, and honestly, they feel like the government is putting profits ahead of people. Well, I want to change that. As a doctor, I took an oath to put patients first, and I will always put people first. I want to make sure that every Iowan feels like they can be the success they want to be. As a doctor, I talk a lot about healthcare. I talk about healthcare is a right, not a privilege, and that's important that every person feel like they have affordable, accessible, quality healthcare in this state. And right now, with this Medicaid privatization, we are not making sure every Iowan has that access. We've actually limited access for 600,000 of our citizens to their health care. Talk to a dad, he has a special needs son, and he may have to put him in an institution because he can't get the care he needs for his son to keep him at home from Medicaid. That's not taking care of every citizen. I talked to a mom and she has a disabled daughter. She has to drive an hour and a half to get the health care for her child. That's not caring about every citizen. I will make sure that Medicaid comes back into the state, that we end this privatization, and that we make sure every patient can be taken care of in the way they should be. I also want to make sure every provider gets their reimbursement and that we are fiscally responsible, which we're not being right now. I talk a lot about mental health, substance abuse, and addiction. It's very personal to me, and I'm going to guess all of you have a friend or family member who's suffering. And yet we're 50th in mental health beds, 47th in mental health providers, and we've honestly turned our law enforcement into our first-line mental health providers. And God bless them, but they want to keep people safe, but they have to take people to emergency rooms or to jails, two of the worst places for someone in crisis and very expensive. What if we took that money and put it into community mental health resources so we could treat this disease and get people better? Isn't that a better way to take care of our citizens? I have a mental health plan on my website. It's McGuire for Governor. It's 17 pages, 7 points, and it's a start to address this mental health substance abuse crisis. I also talk a lot about women's health. As a mom of 5 daughters, as a doctor, as a woman, I will make sure we fund Planned Parenthood so that women's health gets the resources it needs. I will also make sure that we do not have the kind of laws that get between a woman and her doctor. That's a promise from me. I also talk a lot about public education. You know, that's how we all become successful. I would not be a doctor except for a public school teacher who pushed me and made me more than I ever thought I could be. I'd never even seen a woman doctor. That's why we need to have that great public education. We need to respect our public educators, and we need to give them the resources they need to teach our kids in every zip code in Iowa. World-class education is how we're going to move forward. I'm also a scientist by training, a chemist and then a medical doctor. I'd like science back in our government. You know, climate change is a scientific fact, and it's a problem we have to tackle head on. I'm also discouraged right now about this sexual harassment culture and this anti-woman culture we have in our state house. We need to change that, and as a woman and a leader in that area, I will make sure that we don't have that kind of unequal treatment and devaluing treatment in our government. So why am I doing this? Because I have 7 kids and 1 grandchild, and I want my kids and grandchildren and your kids and grandchildren to stay right here in Iowa and be successful. I want them to have clean air and clean water. I want them to have affordable, accessible, quality health care. I want them to have that world-class education. I want to make sure that they have clean air and clean water, because that's the Iowa I see for our kids and grandkids. That's the governor I want to be. It's Andy McGuire for governor. I hope I can earn your support. Thanks so much.